Hello, friends. Good to see you. Today, I am going to read you a story from a new book, and I think you'll really like it, especially those of you who have just gotten a new baby in your house, like Cortez, and those of you that are getting one soon, like Raul. So, um, I want to kind of combine a first story read and a second story read because I'm going to give you some vocabulary words today. And I know you haven't heard the story yet, but it's good to know what the words mean before you even read the story. So, the first word is wonderful. Wonderful means great or amazing. In the book, you will see that Maple thinks her tree is wonderful. I think you guys are wonderful. You guys are all great and amazing kids, and I miss you so much. I can't wait till you can come back. Um, in the picture here, you see the mommy thinks that her boy is wonderful. And this little boy here thinks his little bear is wonderful. Let's clap wonderful 3 times. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Good. Now let's whisper wonderful 2 times. Wonderful, wonderful. Good. Now let's stomp wonderful 2 times. You can't see my legs right now, but I know you can stomp. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's dab wonderful 1 time. Wonderful. That's good. Now, I'm going to put this picture. Oh, you know what? I'll put it behind me when I'm done with the next word, okay? So this word is season. We have 4 seasons every year. Here's the picture of winter. And that's when it snows, and you can see the kids are wearing warm clothes. They're sledding, tobogganing, and making snowmen. So we're in winter right now, and sometimes it snows. We don't have snow on the ground all year, but it does snow sometimes. Then this is spring, and in spring the wind blows so they can fly kites, and the sun comes out maybe a little more, and the birds come and lay eggs, and lots of animals. You start seeing the animals again. Flowers start growing, things turn green. And people are anxious to spend time outside because they've been cooped up inside during the winter time. Now in the summertime, it gets hot. You can see the sun looks very big in this picture. People go to the beach or a lake and they like to build sand castles or swim, or you can just go to the local pool and swim in the pool. Then the last season listed here is fall. Fall is when the leaves on the trees change color and they fall off, and you can make big piles of them, and it's fun to run and jump in them. And also that fall is when harvest time comes, when we can pick the apples and oranges and fruit and pumpkins and other things, and we get lots of nice fresh fruit and vegetables. So those are the 4 seasons. So in the story, we will talk about the 4 seasons too. So be looking for these 4 seasons as I read the story. All right, so right now I want you to clap season 2 times. Season. Now let's snap season 3 times. My fingers kind of hurt right now, so I can't snap real well, but let's try it. Season, season, season. Very good. Now let's say season into your phone 2 times. Season, season. Now let's say season like a robot 3 times. Season, season, season. Very good. Okay, now I'm going to put these pictures behind me on my board, and when I point to them, you need to say, let's see if we can get this so you can see it. There you go. When I point to this one, you need to say season. When I point to this one, you need to say wonderful. So now let me tell you about my book. The name of the book is Maple, and the main character in the book is this girl, and her name is Maple. Now, Maple has a tree that she's named after. It's a maple tree, and she loves her tree, and she takes care of her tree. And then something happens, and she has a baby sister. And she loves her baby sister, and she tries to be a good big sister. Like I know Cortez is trying to be a good big brother. But sometimes, no matter what she does, the baby keeps crying. So let's see what Maple does when the baby, she doesn't know what else to do and it just keeps crying. Let's see if she figures out how to keep the baby from crying anymore. So, here's Maple sitting by her tree. It says Maple loved her name. And she's looking at the tree. I think she loves her tree too. When she was still a whisper, oh, I think that means when she was still in her mommy's tummy, her parents planted a tiny tree in her honor. So I'm thinking that's why they named Maple because they planted a maple tree. It says, and even though Flavia, Millie Jane, Lena, Lily, and Constance were all good names, Maple was the perfect fit. I think this is Maple when she was a baby. They put her in a little basket and put her under the tree. You know what? It looks like it's fall in this picture because I see colored leaves, green, red, orange. And Maple grew. Here she is under her tree when she's still a baby. And now here she's by her tree when she is starting to walk. And now it's winter time. And she's digging in the snow under her tree. This looks like spring or summertime because the leaves are all green and they're still on her tree. So did her tree. Oh, her tree is getting bigger too, just like her. It looks like she has 3 little toys that she likes to bring out when she plays with her under her tree. She looks very happy under her tree. Sometimes when Maple was noisy, which was a lot, her parents sent her outside to play. Her tree didn't mind if she was loud. Maple would sing to her tree. I see her mouth wide open. I think she's singing at the top of her lungs, which means it's as loud as she can. And her tree didn't mind. The tree didn't mind if she was as noisy as she wanted to be because she's outside, so she's not bothering anyone. Oh, and she would sway for her tree. Oh, I think she's kind of dancing or they call it swaying for a tree. Oh, look, she put a leaf in her mouth, and then she put leaves in her pigtails. It says, and sometimes even pretended to be a tree. Oh, I think that's why she's putting the leaves in her pigtails, because she's pretending to be a tree. It looks like when she stands like this, she kind of looks like a tree, huh? On some days, when the wind was just right, Maple would simply lie under her tree, and its leaves would dance just for her. I think Maple likes being outside with her tree. Then one day, Maple noticed the tree was bare. Maple was worried her tree might get cold, so Maple took off her jacket and gave it to the tree to stay warm. I think it's fall, and the leaves they've changed colors, and they're coming off her tree, so the branches were all bare, and that's why Maple thought the tree was cold. Sometimes Maple wished she had someone else to play with. If you're an only child, you may have wished that too. The tree wasn't very good at throwing snowballs. Look, she threw a snowball, but the tree couldn't throw a snowball back. She wondered if the tree felt the same way. So she's wondering, if I'm lonely, maybe the tree is lonely too. So Mabel introduced her tree to a friend. Oh, look, it's just a one snowball snowman, I think, with no eyes, 3 arms. The friendship didn't last. Uh-oh, the sun came out and melted her snowball. See, the snowball melted. Here we are. But Maple and her tree still had each other, so they can still be friends. I think she loves her tree. Through winter and spring, I'm thinking it is spring because I see birds. Oh, I see a squirrel. There's leaves on the tree now. There's a few leaves. Then one day, something surprising happened. I wonder if someone planted something. They did plant something. Something's growing. Then something really surprising happened. I think her mommy just told her that she's going to have a baby and Maple's going to be a big sister. Maple's surprised. Maple became a big sister. Look, there's baby. Maple tried to be a good big sister. Oh, there she is, watching the baby. If the baby was cold, Maple gave the baby her hat and gloves. Oh, they look a little big on the baby, but I'm sure they kept the baby warm. If the baby was lonely, Maple would share her special friends. Oh, look, those are the same 3 toys she took out to play with when she went out to the tree. But Maple couldn't always make the baby happy. Oh, look, she's given the baby her 3 toys, and the baby's still crying. Sometimes babies just cry. So when the baby was noisy, which was a lot, Maple would take her outside to play. I'm thinking she asked her parents if it was okay first, and she made sure it wasn't too cold outside. I wouldn't take the baby outside if there was snow on the ground unless the baby was dressed warm and in a stroller or something. So Maple remembered that when she was really noisy, her parents would tell her to go outside and play. Remember that back here? And she would sing at the top of her lungs. So maybe she thinks that this would be a good place for her sister to go. Oh, because her sister is crying at the top of her lungs. Is her sister crying? I think the change of scenery made her stop crying. This says, and something magical happened. I wonder what happened that was magical. They're both looking at the tree, aren't they? So maybe it had to do with the tree. Maple's tree danced for them both. Oh, look, her sister is looking at the tree and is surprised. It made her stop crying. I think they like watching the leaves on the tree move. Did I miss something? Oh, I did miss something. It says Maple's tree danced for them both. And there was just enough room under the tree for Maple and her little sister, Willow. I think Willow was named after this tree because this is a willow tree. So, was Maple able to get her little sister to stop crying? Yes, she was. She got her little sister to stop crying by taking her outside under the tree, and they watched the leaves move together. And sometimes you can hear a little rustle when the leaves move. So um, she found an answer to the problem. Now, I happen to know babies, and sometimes what works one day won't work the next day. So that might not always work for your baby, but it worked this time for Maple's little sister. I enjoyed reading this story with you. You guys have a good week, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.